Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be checking out an amazing Avengers 2 concept. Real quick before the video starts, I want to give a huge shout out to the creator of this concept, and I'm sure you've heard of them before. It is Allfather Media. Now he's made quite a few concepts throughout the original game's life, and I have a link in the description to his Twitter accounts and his YouTube. You can also check out his Ko-Fi and donate to him there. Anyways, without further ado, here we go. One last thing though. The account made to post all of these is in character, so for the remainder of the video, I'll be acting as if this was all official, real announcements. Anyways, let's go. Now, we've gotten a lot of news about this game, including screenshots, concept art, and some gameplay clips as well. Now, Marvel's Avengers 2 launches spring 2025 and will be using Unreal Engine 5. It will be playable on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. The game is being developed by Eidos Montreal with support from the first game's creators Crystal Dynamics and Gearbox Software, who's helping with the multiplayer for the game. The game, unlike the first, will allow co-op through the entire campaign with up to 4 players. The game will also feature an open world in the form of the Cut Patrol mode from the first game at launch. Raids are also returning and 6 players will be able to participate in them. The reclaimed Avengers Tower will be the main hub for the game. Hubs are also upgraded in this game. At hubs you can play mini games. The game will keep track of your score in each as well, so you and your friends can see who's got the best score. You'll also earn cosmetic rewards and more from playing these. It was confirmed the game will not be a looter, which, given their reasoning, makes sense. In my opinion, the Guardians game would have fit the looter genre much better. Now, the thing that's replacing the gear alongside the abilities from the first game, we have power-ups and augments. This game will have way more hero synergies, and I'll get into both of those things in a bit. Patrol is the center of this new game and will have large maps with open areas. You'll be able to fight criminals, complete random events, fight off Kree incursions, iconic bosses, and more. Random events can include criminal activity, armed Hydra convoys, Kree incursions, bosses escaping from the raft or Riker's Island, and more. At launch, there will be 3 locations available for Patrol: New York City, Wakanda, and Asgard. Now, 2 things to note here. We have a new location with Asgard. I'm sure it'll have a hub as well. Also, they don't mention the Wasteland at all, which means it most likely won't be in the game at all, though it could be added later in a update. Periodically, there will also be special events in Patrol based on updates to the game, and new types of encounters added as the story evolves. I'm sure you've noticed in that last screenshot War Machine, and no, that is not just an Iron Man skin. War Machine will be one of the 3 new heroes coming to this game at launch. On top of that, all 12 heroes from the first game will be returning with improvements to their skills, abilities, combat, and traversal, on top of brand new mechanics for them. We will get into all of those upgrades later in the video. The other 2 new heroes are She-Hulk and Captain Marvel. Now, we don't know currently anything official about their abilities, but they will most likely use part of the abilities they were meant to have in the first game as seen in the leaks and data mines. Main villain for this game seems to be the Kree, but Hydra seems to also be in the game as well. Ronan looks to be the big bad and will most likely have a boss fight, but for now that's the only villain we know will be in the game for sure. Cosmetics are going to be having major improvements in this game. First thing I want to talk about is that all base outfits will be free at launch, including MCU skins and comic-based ones. Challenge cards are seeing a huge change. Yes, they are returning, but instead of having 1 challenge card for each hero, you'll be able to purchase challenge cards to unlock customization options of existing skins. As you reach new tiers, you'll unlock different shields for Cap, different lasers for Iron Man, different color schemes, hairstyles, and a lot more. You'll even be able to mix and match all of these options, giving you hundreds of choices for each character, allowing you to make the characters look exactly how you want. New cards will also be released alongside new outfits. They also specifically mention there will be more comic accuracy on these skins, while also creating original designs as well. All of these changes sound great and will definitely improve the cosmetics for this game. I mentioned before for the first game, things like Iron Man's lasers should have different colors, and now we're actually going to be getting that in the sequel. Emotes are another returning thing with new features, including an emote wheel and brand new types of emotes, one being the heroic outfit chain, which allows certain characters to switch between 2 selected cosmetics seamlessly. Hero roles are a brand new addition in this game. Each hero will have 2 archetypal roles, which you can choose to focus on one and maximize it, or have a balanced blend of both options. There are 6 different roles. Fighter Melee expert that deals in close quarters combat, dealing damage, keeping enemies occupied, and leading the charge. Support, recharge ally health and intrinsic, provide power-ups and overshields to keep them fighting, weaken enemy defenses, slow them down, and inflict status effects to give your team the advantage. Tank, become an unstoppable force, draw the aggression away from your allies, take the hits they can't, and defend control point areas and objectives. Control, destroy enemies with powerful area of effect attacks, deny access to areas, apply status effects, and control the battlefield. Marksman, experts at long-range combat, take out targets from a distance, cover your allies, provide reconnaissance, and call out threats. Make every shot count. Stealth, a new gameplay component to the franchise. Characters with this specialization can crouch down behind cover and have abilities such as cloaking or invisibility. It's all about planning ahead, using the element of surprise, tools, traps, and takedowns to their maximum effect. Now, we don't know what heroes will have what roles yet, but we do know one hero for each role. So far, one of Cap's roles will be Fighter, Iron Man support, Hulk a tank, Thor control, Hawkeye a marksman, and Widow stealth. Now, each of those heroes will also have another role as well, so if you don't want to just be a stealth Widow, you don't have to. Now, a huge addition to this game is teaming up with your allies, using teamotes, team heroics, and more. Teamotes are emotes that a player can activate to assist an ally. For example, Hulk can throw allies into the air, helping them reach heights or perform an aerial attack on enemies. Team-up abilities are a new type of AoE ability. When your team's heroic gauge is full, you can activate it and a prompt will appear above your head for other players. When another player interacts with you, you will perform the team heroic for those specific characters. Team takedowns can be used on all larger enemies in this game, and they will be instantly defeated with them. The takedowns themselves will feature iconic animations depending on the heroes taking part. Each duo will have one takedown unique to that pairing. As well as specific team-up attacks, new unscripted team-ups can occur. For example, you will be able to deflect various types of attacks from Cap's shield, not just the unibeam like in the first game. This will allow you to have more opportunities for teamwork and synergy in a fight. Now, it has also been confirmed that Join in Progress will be in the game. We don't know currently what modes it will support, but I bet it'll at least be available in Patrol and in Raid. Traversal is seeing a huge overhaul in this game. More traversal mechanics such as vaulting, sliding, wall rebounding, improved climbing, super jumps, and even more. For flying characters, the flight ceiling is now vastly improved, giving you that true sense of freedom. It seems much faster and more fluid from the gameplay we've seen so far. One of the biggest problems with traversal in the first game was the stiff feeling of the movement. It seems much better from the clips we've seen. Every character will have new ways to get around much faster, including nanotech vehicles. Next thing I want to talk about is all the improvements and changes for existing heroes, starting with Jane. Now, Jane in the first game was almost the same as Thor, but in this game, she is way more unique. Jane's ultimate attack now changes based on the attack type as hard light constructs, like in the comic. A sword for light attacks, axe for heavy attacks, and a spear for ranged attacks. She'll also be able to send Mjolnir to defend allies during her ultimate attack. Her support and assault heroics have also been replaced with brand new ones. The assault is Valkyrie Whirlwind, a massive storm that surrounds Jane, damaging and hurling all enemies in the vicinity. We don't know what her support is yet, but now we're going to talk about Hawkeye. Now, we have two new abilities for Hawkeye. The first is a hacking arrow, which allows you to control robotic enemies and turn them against each other. And the second is this new barrier he can create using electric arrows that damages enemies who walk through it. Black Panther has a new aura spear, which will shield nearby allies. In the first game, it was possible for Hulk to grab enemies and use them in combat. But in this game, Hulk can now also grab objects in the environment, such as cars shown here, and use them as weapons, shields, and projectiles. Two more Hulk abilities are Battering Ram and Scrap Takedown. With Battering Ram, Hulk charges forward with debris he has picked up, smashing through enemies in his path. Hulk uses scrap parts from large robotic enemies as damage-dealing gloves for a short time after a takedown. Spider-Man also has a new ability, allowing him to block off areas like objectives from enemies. The next thing I want to talk about is the augments and power-ups for this game. Now, augments and power-ups are a new addition, and they both significantly change gameplay in various ways. Augments are a permanent change to how your hero plays while equipped, whereas power-ups are temporary and must recharge over time between uses. Each augment and power-up has its own mini skill tree, allowing you to refine and customize how you want your hero to play. Now, these slots have far more depth, customization, and lore connection with the character, and will make heroes feel unique, iconic, and true to their source material. The endgame is all about maximizing the effectiveness of your build through augment and power-up upgrades. Your main skill tree is leveled through entry-tier level content. Augments, power-ups are obtained through mid-tier content, and upgrades for those can only be obtained through the endgame. Power-ups can also change your appearance, but their effects are only temporary. For example, the symbiote taking over Spider-Man. Once the power-up has ended, your hero will regain their normal appearance. Each augment has a power-up counterpart. You can choose to use both, or mix and match. For example, with Spider-Man, you could choose to use the symbiote augment and power-up, or you could choose to use just the symbiote augment and use the Iron Spider power-up. Now, our first hero we're going to talk about with the augments and power-ups is Spider-Man. The first is Iron Spider. Iron Spider augment increases your damage resistance, and the power-up, we don't know what it'll do yet, but we do have this image of him with the arms, so it'll probably have something to do with that. His second is Classic. Now, with his Classic augment, it'll allow you to obtain further upgrades to main skill tree abilities, and the Classic power-up enhances Spider Sense for a short time, giving you much more time to react and dodge enemy attacks. His third is the Symbiote. The augment enhances your strength, increases damage, travel speed, and removes the need to reload web shooters. The power-up gives a temporary boost in damage and special tendril ranged attacks. After a short time, you will have to button mash the attack button to remove it. The symbiote damages you during this process, so this power-up is risk versus reward. Cap is the next one we're going to be talking about. His three are Worthy, Classic, and Soldier. We don't know anything about what all of the augments will do for Cap, but we do know the power-ups. The Worthy power-up allows Cap to wield the power of Thor, imbuing Cap's attacks with electricity, increasing his resistance to damage, and granting overcharge for the duration of the power-up. It also changes his traversal to Mjolnir assisted flight while active. With the Classic power-up, Cap musters all of his unrelenting determination, I almost said dementia just now, focus, and willpower, allowing him to block and deflect all attacks with no intrinsic cost and increase all stun damage. It also allows Cap to auto-target 8 enemies with charged shield throws. While the Soldier power-up is active, he will store his shield and fights hand-to-hand. His attacks are much faster, more aggressive, and deal more damage. His sprint speed and jump height are also increased during this. It says his blocks also become a counterattack during this, but it also mentions somewhere else though that his shield block will now have a built-in takedown with AoE damage also. So I don't know what that means, or if it's just supposed to be for this power-up and that's an error. Next hero is Iron Man. His three are Nanotech, Classic, and Iron Legion. With his Nanotech augment, you have the Nano Shield counter block by default. When you acquire and equip it, he also has new attacks and heroics with this augment. His Nanotech power-up activates Nano Repair technology, instantly healing and restoring intrinsic energy for Iron Man and all nearby allies. While the power-up is active, Iron Man constantly regenerates health slowly while in combat and quickly out of combat. We don't currently know anything about what his Classic augment will do, but we do know his Classic power-up temporarily overcharges Iron Man's attacks and heroics, dealing higher damage, increased flight speed, and periodically activates defense systems that auto-target nearby enemies, interrupting their attacks. We don't know what his Iron Legion augment will do yet, but we do know his Iron Legion power-up calls in AI-controlled bots to fight alongside you and your teammates for a short time. They will attack enemies on sight, defend control points, and revive downed heroes. We do know 3 more augments / power-ups for the other heroes in the games. One is Black Panther's, one is Thor's, and one is Black Widow. Black Widow's sniper augment replaces her heavy caliber pistol with a rifle, increasing range, damage, and can be upgraded in various ways, such as ammunition that passes through multiple enemies, shields, and certain surfaces. Thor will have a Yarnborn / Stormbreaker augments, but we don't know exactly what it'll do yet. And Black Panther can summon Okoye using a power-up that we don't know the name of yet. Now, it is important to note that with each augment and power-up, you can choose 2 parts of them, but not all of them. For example, you can choose both light attacks and ranged attacks to be upgraded with the Nanotech augment, or choose the heavy and heroic attacks, or heroic and ranged upgrades, meaning every player will have a unique combinations of these heroes, augments, and power-ups. Now, we have gotten a few updates about what the post-launch will include. It's been confirmed that new heroes will be added, Ant-Man and the Wasp being the first to come, who will be added in Q1. We've also gotten a 3-year roadmap for the game. Starting with Year 1, Q1, like I said before, Ant-Man and the Wasp will be added as well as a new character mission. Q2 includes Scarlet Witch, a new character mission, new team missions, a new threat with Ultron, and new enemy types. Q3 includes Vision, a new character mission, new team missions, a new raid called Age of Ultron, new augments, new power-ups. Q4 will include Wolverine, a new character mission, and new enemy types. Year 2, Q1 will include a new Captain America with Sam Wilson, including a classic Falcon augment and power-up, a new character mission, and new enemy types. Q2 includes Shang-Chi and a new character mission. Q3 includes Doctor Strange, a new character mission, a new raid, multiverse threat, a new patrol area, new enemy types, new team missions, and new augments and power-ups. I wouldn't be surprised if the new patrol location is in a different dimension like the Dark Dimension also. Q4 includes Spectrum, a new character mission, a new raid, Assault on Hala, which is the Kree capital if you didn't know. It'll also include new enemy types, new augments, and new power-ups. Year 3, Q1 includes Quake, a new character mission, and a new social hub, which will be the first new hub according to the roadmap. Q2 includes Nova, a new character mission, a new patrol area, and new enemy types. Q3 and 4 will include the biggest update yet with the Defenders expansion. It includes 4 new heroes with Luke Cage and Iron Fist in Part 1, and Daredevil and Jessica Jones in Part 2. It'll also include a new patrol area, new enemy types, new team missions, new augments and power-ups, and more unannounced things as well. Now, this game sounds amazing, and I really wish it was real. Anyways, that's it. If you want me to cover any future posts made by this account, I can do so. But if you want to also just follow it yourself, you can do so by following the link in the description. I highly do recommend donating so that he can keep making these because they're really good. Anyways, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.